So these four, sfumato, unione, cangiante and chiaroscuro, these were four most important techniques that the Renaissance artists have used. And there is chiaroscuro. What does it mean, chiaroscuro? Maybe when you are doing your bachelor's. Do you have any idea of what chiaroscuro is? This also, I think that you all know this. Do you know it? Chiaroscuro?
The heightened effect of light and shade.
Yeah, it is an effect of light and shade. Okay. I will make it more clear. We will start with the literal meaning of the term or the etymology of the term. The term chiaroscuro, it is pronounced differently in different languages. Chiaroscuro, it comes from two Latin words. One is clarus. In Italian, clarus is chiaro. That is C-H-I-A-R-O. Chiaro. Chiaro in English means clear or bright. And the second word is obscurus. And in English there is a term obscure, you know it? Obscure. But in Italian it is oscuro. No B is there. Oscuro. Okay. So from the Italian terms chiaro and oscuro, the term chiaroscuro comes. Chiaro and oscuro. Latin clarus and Latin obscurus. These are the two terms from which chiaro and obscuro comes, and they are joined to coin the term chiaroscuro. And it actually literally means clear, obscure, bright, dark. That is the literal meaning of the term. So I think that notion is clear to you. And in art they are using this effect. So in painting, it's a technique developed during the Renaissance, referring to the use of exaggerated light contrast in order to create the illusion of volume. So there will be a dark area and there will be a light area. So that technique is used to exaggerate or to create the illusion of volume. In woodcut, you see this in woodcut. In photography also this technique is widely used today. So one side of the face will be very dark and the other side will be very light. So when you do photography, there is a light from this side and absolute darkness from this side. You know how it look like. So in photography and all, that this technique is used today. So we'll look at some of the paintings. Okay, so there is strong contrast between dark and light. Bold contrast affecting the whole composition. So this one is Hans Holbein, the Engler, Christ at Rest, pen and ink. So the use of contrast of light to achieve a sense of volume in modeling the three-dimensional objects. So the use of light and darkness here has actually evolved the volume of the figure which is drawn. Even in today's cinema and photography also, these kind of effects are used. So the underlying principle is that the solidity of the form is best achieved when we use this technique. And Leonardo da Vinci uses this technique. Caravaggio, one of the masters of it. Rembrandt also uses this technique. So these are some of the Renaissance and late Renaissance or later painters who use this technique. And in many of the prints from that time, you may see this is formed by using darkness and light, the contrast between light and darkness. Diogenes after Parmigianino, a chiaroscuro woodcut from blocks. This is a parable of the rich man by Rembrandt. So you see, most of the portion in the painting is dark. He has given suggestions of architecture, suggestions of some material things around, suggestion of a shelf or a shelf there where he has collected all the riches. And in that light, very little things are seen. Majority of the portion, at least 2/3 of the painting is dark and only 1/3 is lighted, approximately. So that gives a kind of effect of the volume of the objects there. Leonardo da Vinci, Madonna of the Rocks. Actually, these are two different paintings that we will see later. So, see, look at the figures, the prominent figures. There you see light, but within that figure, where the cloth comes, it becomes very dark. That contrasting effect is used. In the background, that contrasting effect is used. You look at this. If you look at this angel, the face is very clear, and the hair, and maybe the front part of the hair is also clear. But when it goes to the hair behind, on the back of the head, it is obscure. The wings very obscure. There is a suggestion that wings are there, but it is very obscure. See, the front side is very clear and back side is very obscure. So clear and obscure, bright and dark. That is the literal meaning, bright and dark. So look at the fingers here. On the top there is light, bottom there is no light. That gives the sense of volume, the illusion of three-dimensionality. So look at these images. So you see where is light and where is darkness, where it is clear and where it is obscure. So these are some of the Da Vinci paintings. So it's an incomplete work. So you see where there is light and where there is darkness, the feeling of volume that it creates. Transfiguration. So here it is very clear, but in this area he has very effectively used that contrast between light and darkness. So the figures are partially bright and partially dark. Okay, that is chiaroscuro. So you understood the four canonical techniques of or canonical modes of painting that was very prevalent during the Renaissance. So if you try to understand all these four different modes, when we try to understand all these different modes following a continuous sequence from subtle to bold. From subtle to bold, we may order it like this. Sfumato is very subtle way of using. Then comes Unione, it is little more bolder. Cangiande, further bold. And finally, chiaroscuro. Okay, Sfumato, Unione, Cangiande and chiaroscuro. This will be the order if you try to arrange it in the a continuous sequence. Arrange it in a continuous sequence from subtle to bold. Okay, the subtle to bold modes used in Renaissance painting. So is these four techniques clear to you?
Sir, in the works you have shown, Rembrandt work,
Okay.
painting, is Sfumato also used?
Yeah, means that is why I said it is not that they don't mix these techniques. They mix it. They use the different techniques in same painting. Okay, so the effect of Sfumato also may be there, but the effect of chiaroscuro is more prominent in that painting. That's why I showed that as an example for that. You understand?
Yeah.
When you closely observe, you may find different techniques being used in the same painting, but maybe one of them is prominent and may not be also. There can be balance also. But in that painting, obviously, that was very prominent. The effect of light and darkness. Okay. Later it comes to be a technique called tenebrist. We will discuss that later. So I hope this idea is clear to you.
Yes.